Hey, good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the PCOE North Country Board meeting. And let's make the meeting with flag salute and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Klein, Edmund, Madison, Helen.
Here.
Reed. Here.
Klein.
Here.
Thank you very much. I understand there is an amendment to the tonight's agenda.
So I'd like to make a motion to move item 10A, 1.2 to up to before item 2.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We have approval to amend the agenda. Now we'd like to approve the agenda itself.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. We'll start off with the principal's recognition for the principal officer.
Good evening. So lovely to see you. I'm very proud to introduce to the board this evening our selection for the Principal's Recognition Award, Jonathan Silva. There you go. Jonathan is supported this evening by his family. He has Andela, his mother, Roberto, his father, and his aunt. And he here is going to translate this. He is a first grade teacher at CRC, and thank you. So I've been Jonathan's principal for just a short time now. New at CRC this year. Jonathan's a sixth grader at our school. But I've already found him to be just a wonderful, kind, hardworking young man. He not only meets all of our school-wide expectations, but he encourages others to do the same. And he always has a smile on his face, and it's just one of the kindest human beings I know. So I have enjoyed our conversation so far. This is what, go ahead.
So, he sido la directora de Jonathan por poco tiempo, pero ya he descubierto que es un joven muy maravilloso, amable, trabajador, y no solo cumple con todas nuestras expectativas que tenemos en CRC, pero también es una persona maravillosa y amable, y disfruto las conversaciones que tengo con él y la sonrisa que siempre da.
This is what his teachers have to say. Mrs. Renteria says Jonathan was in her kindergarten class and always proved to be a stellar student. He made sure to not only follow the CRC expectations of being safe, responsible, and respectful, but he also held his peers accountable so they too could follow this expectation. As the years have passed, she's witnessed Jonathan grow, mature, and continue to be nothing but a stellar student. I'm so proud of the young man that Jonathan has continued to be over the years. Now that I'm working with him again as a sixth grader, I see not only a responsible student, but a kind, caring, and compassionate friend, a hard worker, and someone who's ready to take on a challenge and always strives to learn more. I'm beyond proud of you, Jonathan. Love, Miss Renteria.
Okay, so la parte es de nuestra teoría. Ahora es la otra maestra de sexto grado, pero eso es lo que digo. Jonathan estaba en mi clase de kinder y siempre demostró ser un estudiante estelar. Se aseguraba no solo de seguir las expectativas de CRC, de ser seguro, ser responsable y respetuoso, sino también responsabilizó a sus otros alumnos de la escuela para que ellos también puedan seguir estas expectativas. A medida que han pasado estos años, yo he sido testigo como Jonathan ha crecido, madurado y sigue haciendo nada más de ser un estudiante estelar. Estoy muy orgulloso de Jonathan y estar viendo todo lo que ha hecho todos estos años. Ahora que estoy trabajando con él, en sexto grado. No solo veo un estudiante responsable, sino también un amigo amable, afectuoso y compasivo. Un gran trabajador y alguien que está listo para asumir un desafío y siempre ser una fuerza por aprender más. Estoy muy orgulloso de ti, Jonathan. Love, Mrs. Richard.
And Ms. Frieden says all those same things. She also says she cannot wait to see how much you grow this year. We're all so proud of you and looking forward to the wonderful things you do in the future.
Y ese es de la maestra de Jonathan, Mrs. Frieden. Jonathan trabaja duro constantemente en clase y hace todo con una sonrisa en el rostro. Siempre puede contar con él, no solo para hacer correcto todo, pero también para, igual con sus compañeros, hacer los que ellos también sean responsables por sus cosas. Es un placer tenerlo en la clase y no puedo esperar a ver cuánto crece este año. Todos estamos muy orgullosos de Jonathan y su aprendizaje y siempre esperemos que siga así y con todo lo que pase en el futuro.
Great. I'm very proud to present this to you. He's got to get to football. Good job, Johnny.
Principal Sheridan.
So this is Kate Henson. Kate is here with mom Liz and the brother Kurt, who don't very well. Kate is an 11th grader at Portobello School. If I had to describe her in 2 words, it's a model student. She maintains straight A's with, I'd say, he's got 3 AP courses this year. A very rigorous schedule. She plays sports. She's an active member of leadership. We're going to hear more about here in just a minute. And she's probably one of the kindest, most respected students that we have in students. And so this was an easy no-brainer. We want to recognize Kate today. And we brought ASP leadership teacher Erin Cooper over to talk a little bit more about the amazing things that Ms. Cooper does to us.
Yes, so when, we were asked as a staff, who should be nominated? Because of grades, right? Immediately, sorry, my brain hides sometimes. As Kate. I know Kate since 7th grade, but we've been working together for 5 years now. And that 5 years, I watched Kate not only stay true to herself, to her values, her strengths. She's always open to growing, to growth, to change. One thing, and she is our youngest ASP president we've ever had as a junior. And she has taken that role and just run with it. We have probably the most diverse group. We're at 30 students, I think, in ASB, a very large group of strong-willed, strong-minded students that make ASB work. And she has been able to come up with ways to settle and have resolutions to have everybody be heard. She has the leadership skills and qualities that I would attribute to Mrs. Sheridan. She's not a top-down leader. She is a let's do this together leader. And that is the type of leadership that will bring communities together, bring organizations together. And when we were decorating her homecoming dance, we had 15 people sign up to help us decorate. 6 people showed up. It took us 9 hours to do it. And as we're talking, talking each other off the cliff, because we've known each other for a while, Kate brought me down of my, not anger, but, frustrations. And, you promised to show up. And, she says, well, you know what? We have our rubric. We're going to let people reflect and figure out what happened. Where's our strengths here? And all she kept saying was service above self. Service above self. She is going to be a model leader in whatever she chooses to do in her future. And I'm so excited to be a part of it and watch you learn and watch you grow. And I truly appreciate you, and what you've done for the school is absolutely beautiful. So, and
What's the picture?
can I get a picture of you guys?
Thank you.
And everybody, good job.
Is the time and place for?
They're busy.
When you're good.
And as our ASB English teacher, this has teaches design for us people live. And they're coming together, they're my dynamic duo, to present to you brief slideshow on what they do apply to the branding and school events and things that really make our school go and take it to the next level. So ladies, I'm going to turn it over to you, pass and show me what you did first.
Yeah. So our collaboration started during COVID. Okay, this is a COVID baby that has turned into something miraculous. So
This is where we started.
where we started, how this began, and where we are now to it. Because of COVID, ASB, we were not able to do the things that ASB likes to do with events and all that fun stuff. So we still had the class. And working with Ms. Henson with graphic design, she had already dabbled with Canvas. I always get Canva and Canvas. Canva. Okay, thank you. Canva, which is the digital arts media, right? You can make all these beautiful posters. And this one was kind of what launched it to have the buy-in of ASB. And I don't know if you guys, those of you with us during COVID, if you remember this post on Facebook, I was trying to look back to it today, but we have so many posts, I couldn't find the actual how many likes and hits and shares and everything like that. But this was really meaningful to the community, to the parents, to the students. And it was just, trying to motivation of where we were at that time. So
also kind of made us realize that this is a way to have an impact on our community, on our students, and just our school kind of energy and culture. So it kind of sparked that, which was pretty powerful.
mm-hmm. So where it started to where we are now with media and branding goes to, if you follow us, you follow our Instagram and our Facebook account. I'm sure you've seen some of the posts that we've been doing. It's coming. So from that one little simple graphic to where we are now with bringing in awareness of gains, seeing images of students, events, planning what's going on. So you can see that we have come a long way of how we handle our media and design.
This is all student created too. I think we also need to, we started it and we did create stuff in the beginning, and now this is leadership class, graphic design class. It's the students do this. So from the photography of the players to the design of the graphics, it's student run. And one of them is Kate. She came before school started and hosted a media day and did all these photos and then edited them. And then it's awesome because Yearbook will use these things too. So we're kind of collaborating and using it for multi-purposes for school branding, social media, and then for, keeping our yearbook memories.
And the newsletter.
Yes, Audra gets everything. So she pushes this stuff out that way. So we're creating a ton of content for the school, for the community. And parents love, I think we get a lot of feedback from families and parents that they love seeing their kids featured. We get so many shares and there's like a sense of pride of, you know, maybe we don't have a winning season, but they're still like proud of their kids and the work they're doing and seeing all the things that we're doing.
Right.
They're kind of in the loop and seeing the faces of Portola High School.
And everybody's waiting, oh, when is my player gonna be
Yes.
featured next? And we do have it, it's very inclusive and the awareness of everybody gets showcased.
Yes.
So
There's
there-
spreadsheets and tracking.
Mhm.
that she does.
Mhm. So that's the social media page.
And then kind of going into the how we do this, and I you can kind of see some behind the scenes of what Media Day looks like this year. We hosted our first one this year. We've had this idea for
We started evolving, so it's all about evolution.
Yeah.
We evolved, I want to say during basketball.
last year basketball. We explored this and we're like, okay, let's try this, and we kind of got our nose wet a little bit. And then this fall or this summer,
Mhm, so-
preparing for fall, we had our first media day. So we invited all the sports teams to come. We set up kind of a photo studio in the cafeteria and had the kids lined up and took their photos.
Mhm.
So we had volleyball, football, cheer, soccer, had everyone go through. We have all of their photos to use for whatever we need, which was really fun.
Mhm.
And the coaches were a little skeptical at first, like we didn't have full buy-in, but then we explained what we were doing and how we were hoping to increase gate numbers and
As the bookkeeper at PHS, these gate sales has increased tremendously from the media and the marketing that we have been doing. So it's helping the programs across the board.
yeah, they're making more money. People are coming, we're selling more merch.
So yep.
So this is just kind of a behind the scenes view of what that looks like.
And again, completely student centered.
Yes, student centered. I just kind of sat back and was like, you need anything? You need some water?
Yeah. So if anybody follows the Wolf Pack or, college teams, professional teams, FRC, we're kind of trying to model, the best of the best. And our kids are fully capable of doing that and learning that because as a career, they can do this.
And more kids are asking us, how do we get involved with this? How do we do this? Our classes are full. Like kids really, they want these skills. They see the potential with jobs. And I think there's so much more we can do with this too.
Like you have, Liz has a waiting list for her classes. I have an application interview process for my class, and it is, I had to turn away 20 people for ASB this year. So the programs are just getting bigger and bigger. And so that which makes us reflect of the level of student engagement campus-wide is high. And then those who actually want to be involved. I mean, from when we started, it's astounding. It's fun. It's exciting
really fun
to be a part of.
So then we're going to kind of share just some of the outcomes that we've kind of touched upon, but we just have, why we're doing this and what the outcomes for our school is. It's informational, so we can share out with the community of events and, spirit gear on sale, yearbooks. As the yearbook advisor, since we kind of started, our social media presence got so high, parents see them, my yearbook sales, I don't even have to sell them. It's all online. People just see the links and grandparents buy them from other states for their kids just by seeing it. So it's really trickled into I've had record sales last year for yearbook, and I think I will this year again. So kids are just really excited and families from out of the area, which is really cool. Spirit here, I think is
Spirit here, having the connections with the community, Portola Village Pharmacy, and that slide, I'm looking at it and I remember the student who made it, a student made that.
Yes.
And just looking at the space and the design, and they were so proud of it.
Mhm.
And to be able to honor Portola Village Pharmacy, who is Portola's only pharmacist, I mean, it's a great relationships, great.
And such a strong supporter of our schools.
100%.
We also just have programs with community outreach, and Erin can kind of talk about.
Yeah, so, well, with the media also, and with ASB, we've been able to bring back donkey basketball, and then there's the carnival, we're trying to make more relationships with CRC, so with our coyotes and our tigers growing together, so it's not so foreign when CRC merges over here, so really trying to bridge those relationships, we've been really trying to do, and oh my goodness, donkey basketball, don't tell me about donkey basketball. The Highway 80 was closed that morning. The guy was bringing the donkeys over and we still had the thing. And it was remarkable. It was a good time.
And packed.
And packed.
Yeah.
we learned a lot. Gonna get better. This year's gonna get even better. And then being able to highlight our local community members who donate and support Portola High School religiously, continuously. So that's also been a great experience, making sure students acknowledge our local community. And it's great just making those connections.
We touched upon this, but these two particular events this year, and it was a big game for football, but our carnival had record attendance. I mean, what did we say?
Yeah, at least 500.
500 people came to the carnival, which was a free community event. And so positive. Our clubs and classes were able to fundraise and make money for their things,
Yep.
which was so cool. And then the football games and volleyball games, I would say sports across the board. Attendance has been amazing. So
All student made. Like,
Yeah.
it's just amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And same with the haunted house, record attendance for the haunted house, which we're in the works right now. That's gonna become this room right here is gonna be transformed into a nightmare mystery. So it'll be super fun.
and what we're kind of hoping at going forward, like working with the kids, this gives them collaboration opportunities with real world clients and jobs. So they've had a couple experiences like last year with the Tiger Classic, the graphic design class, all had an opportunity to design and submit a logo for the t-shirts. And these were the two that won. So there was a sense of school pride in that the students created this. The ASB was kind of their clients. They got to have that experience of maybe having some difficulties with clients and getting feedback, but it was real world and really, I think really good for them. So this was the result. And I think we had great sales for t-shirts too, because I think kids were like, oh, Becca designed that. I want to buy it for sure. So that was a really neat experience for them that we're hoping to do this year again. And then in the last couple of years, I have students, it's a contest to design the planners. So Mrs. Sheridan is their client and kind of comes in and talks about what they need. So this kind of keeps with that branding throughout the whole school. It's continued with things we use every day. So these were the last couple of years, and the student who has graduated and it's amazing. It's nice to see her face on that planner.
Yeah.
And then
Going forward, there's always bigger and better, bigger and better, bigger and better. Videography. I want a mega screen.
we want to get videos like our next video. So we're going to bring that in.
Yeah. So instead of the still shots, now we could do advertising of games with live motion, player motion, still in their uniforms, and then not necessarily videography in terms of TikTok, but true video, and editing and starting a YouTube channel. Because we can't cast with Air Parrot and the casting. I just want a YouTube channel. That's all.
There's more to come.
Yes. So big dreams, big goals, just to be better than ever. So, and collaboration is the key.
Yes, we couldn't do it. We need each other.
Thank you.
And thank you.
For the terrific presentation.
Okay.
All one person. Anything? Introduce someone.
So I have the privilege of introducing another amazing person from our campus. He's coming, and that's Gavin Duenas. Gavin is our student representative for the board this year. He's a 12th grader. Gavin maintains a 3.9 GPA. He is outstanding. He's been on the wrestling team. But really the thing that I think most when I think about Gavin is he is such a sincere, helpful, thoughtful, and respectful kid. It's like my favorite. And so when I see him coming, just the interactions are always so nice and kind and makes my day. So this again is an easy pick for the board rep. And so Gavin, I'm pleased that you're here and you've taken on this challenge, and welcome aboard.
Trustee Jolene Klein will be us.
I, Gavin Duenas, do solemnly swear
I, Gavin Duenas, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You provide an update.
All right, well, Tola High School has made some true leaps and bounds this year. And I'm really excited to give this semi-presentation to you guys today. Well, to start off from the beginning of the year, this August, Tola High School held its Tiger Kickoff, which had a very high attendance compared to other years. We also had a high number of participation for our homecoming week, which involved dress-up days, a rally, a parade, and our annual homecoming dance. Additionally, we also see a lot of praise from members of our community on how our parade went. Excitedly, our varsity football team is currently undefeated, and we're hoping to continue this trend after this Friday Fall River game. Portola High School is also seeing an increase in clubs in the past years, like our Dungeons and Dragons Club, our book club, and our GSI club. This year, we have started a new peer improvement group who have been meeting each week to discuss ways to improve our school culture and attendance. Our school has also implemented new grading policies, which allows late work to be accepted with no penalty through the end of each semester. This has decreased many students' stress level, which in result find many of my peers feeling less agitated throughout the day and more attended in their studies they're partaking in. And we have lots of things to look forward to in the coming year. Some of this would be like our fall festival, which allows students to experience a haunted house assembled by our students' body, like Miss Cooper and Miss Henson have mentioned. And our go trick-or-treating in our schools with their friends and families. And our school also participates in different types of sports during the winter months, like basketball and wrestling, which provides many of our students with physical activity during our long winter months. From my point of view, our school is making the necessary improvements to enrich its students' academic lives, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the year will bring for us. Thank you for your time.
Now is the time and place for public input. I can invite Darrell Hutchins.
All right, Darrell Hutchins, PCTA president. First thing I'm going to do is an extremely important thing. And I wish I had one of these for every single person in this crowd. I'm sorry, I don't. And I told myself it would be Christy, Bill, and the board, and Patty, because of a conversation we had like 4 or 5 days ago. This Saturday is an annular eclipse of the sun. Okay, so what that means, annular eclipse, is the sun is too far away from the earth, therefore is smaller, and it won't cover the sun completely. So when the eclipse happens on Saturday, and the annularity begins at 9:21. So 9:21 is when the annularity actually starts. The eclipse actually starts about 8:05, but at its best, the sun, you'll see what's called the ring of fire. Okay, but don't look at the ring of fire with anything except the glasses that I gave you, or welding glasses, or I actually am going to go with my wife, and we're traveling to Winnemucca, Nevada, which is about 4.5 hours from here, because that's the path of the annularity. Okay, so we're excited about that. Number 2. So thank you. That was a gift to you. Enjoy it. Give it to your kids. Enjoy the eclipse. And I'm sorry I didn't have one. Should have just done a whole bunch of them. Number 2. You'll notice I'm wearing my shirt, but it's exciting for me to say this. The teachers voted, instead of wearing the shirt every single week of the year, to reduce that to once a month, because they recognized that the board and our work with the superintendent and with Christy is moving forward, and they were appreciated for the movement forward. And so they elected, the teachers elected to reduce our, shirt wearing days to once a month. Okay, so that's good news. I've been in the district here for about 18 years, I'd say. And I would say this is probably the best I've seen the relationship between the teachers, the superintendent, and the board. And I'm excited about that. And I definitely am excited to move that forward. Okay. However, number 3, as president, I've heard 2 words over and over again. And Bill is aware of this. I'm working with Mr. Roderick on this, and this is an ongoing thing. In fact, I had a conversation about one of these words just about an hour ago. And that conversation is still with me. And that is safety and time. You'll notice money was not mentioned. Okay. It's been money. It's been money. It's been money. It's been money. It's been on teachers' hearts for the last 18 years I've been here. I've heard money, 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 money. This is the first year that I know of when teachers said, these are our concerns. Money was not one of them. Thank you for the raise to us. It has been good. We still want to work and continue to move forward, but thank you for that. And the teachers appreciate that. Let's go back to time and safety. Time, because for whatever reason, it's thanks to COVID, it's thanks to Canvas, it's thanks to emails, it's thanks to about 5 or 6 different technologies that all the teachers are now using. We are off the charts, just so busy. It is just incredible. I get about 50 emails a day that I have to answer. And my wife spends about 4 hours every Saturday cleaning up her Canvas to make sure that the Canvas is all cleared up. And it's great during the week. Oh my goodness, it's great during the week. But it means 4 hours on Saturday, every single Saturday of the school year. We are stressed out. And I think you guys know that. Mr. Roderick does know that. He and I are working on things for that. So that's moving forward. The other one is safety. And this is also thanks to COVID. We have a scary movement forward that's happening at the elementary schools, I've heard, and it's moving towards the high schools. We are getting a type of kid that doesn't understand control. And we have some kids that are having some scary behaviors. And so I've been hearing from a lot of teachers, they themselves are almost fearful for their own safety. And I say that because the answers are not obvious. I don't know what the answer is. Mr. Roderick and I will continue. We've had about 5 or 6 conversations on this. We're going to have another one because of the conversation today. I don't know what the answers are, but you do need to be aware that there's a really scary kind of a kid that now is starting to move up the ranks. And that is the kid who doesn't understand no, who doesn't concern themselves with why they should not pick up a rock and throw it at somebody. It's just scary. And the teachers have communicated that fear. And I'm working with Mr. Roderick, and we'll see what happens from here. So thank you once again for the movement forward. And we will be working to see this thing through. Thank you very much.
I'm Brian. Dear members of the governing board, as we write this letter, we present to you in this public forum, we reflect on several of the core values stated on the PCOE website, which I'd like to touch on a few: learning, fiscal responsibility, compassion. We treat ourselves and others with compassion and respect. Teamwork. We work together in a supportive and positive manner. Accountability. We follow through on our commitments. We are responsible and accountable for our actions and results. In communication, we listen, we respond, and follow through with open and respectful two-way communication. But we question where we as parents are not supported with these core values. And we deeply question where our young son was lost in the process and the traumatic playground accident at the Quincy Elementary campus last spring. On March 2nd, 2023, our 5th grade son was severely injured on the playground at Albert Street campus. He sustained a skull fracture, several severe concussion, and a traumatic brain injury. As a result of USD negligence and oversight by school personnel, allowing students to play on snow berms over 8 feet high with ice base. After his initial emergency diagnosis at Queens District Hospital, he was transferred to the Now Medical Center in Reno, Nevada via ambulance. In July, we submitted a claim for out-of-pocket medical expenses related to this injury.
Accountability. We are here today to address you as parents of a child who is severely injured and continues to suffer short-term severe learning loss and unknown long-term consequences of traumatic brain injury due to negligence in student safety at Quincy Elementary. We felt unsupported by the school administration in the aftermath of this event, especially when trying to navigate your claims process, which was entirely confusing. Communication. Following the incident, the school administrator knew nothing of the claims policy or process when asked, and stated that the business office would need to be consulted. After several emails back and forth, we had to call the business office directly for clarity on this process. We were told that once we submitted our paperwork, it would go on the agenda and we would present our claim to the board. This seemed odd. A claim like this to your liability insurance would be presented to the board, but if that's your process, fine. Fiscal responsibility. Following your stated procedure, we then submitted a claim for approximately $2,500 for out-of-pocket only medical expenses in July, as our personal insurance covered tens of thousands of dollars of our son's care. Communication and teamwork. We then received a very abrupt rejection letter approximately 6 weeks later, dated September 14th. This letter was entirely unprofessional, had typos, and stated with bold letters at the top, rejection of claim. It stated that the claim was rejected and then warning in capital letters stating a few legal points. We have only that we only have 6 months from this notice to file state court action on this claim. 2, that we may seek the advice of an attorney, and if we do so, we should do so immediately. And 3, that the district would seek to recover all costs in their defense in the event an action is filed. Compassion and communication. We get an impersonal form letter in the mail. No follow-up phone call from a person in administration asking how our son is 3 to 6 months after the accident. No call from the business office offering suggestions for how to solve the fiscal challenges of liability for an unsafe playground and unknown supervision. No cover letter stating how you arrived at this conclusion. No interpersonal communication at all. No opportunity for us to speak to the board and present our claim as was told to us over the phone review the process. So I asked, was it even presented to the board? If so, who presented it? Did it go to your insurance? What was your review process? We have no idea. Compassion. This letter makes us feel that you don't care. If a family whose child was severely injured on your campus due to negligence in student safety is denied access to your liability insurance for out-of-pocket only medical expenses, then what do you have liability insurance for? Learning. Again, you can imagine the pain and suffering we experienced from this event are significant. Our son was unable to attend school for 2 months due to his traumatic brain injury. He was not symptom-free for over 3 months. He continues to suffer learning loss, compromised executive functioning, loss of love of life, the things he likes to do, and has a deep-seated anger surrounding this trauma, which all continue to be worrisome. The long-term ramifications of this event continue to be challenging. As parents, we are devastated by how unprofessionally this event was handled and unresponsive and unsupported we felt by the school as an institution that cares for children.
Excuse me, I interrupt you for just one moment. There is a 3-minute time limit to speaking. and I
That's fine. We just wanted
split it up.
you to know our
This is
experience.
the end. Thank you. We'll be in touch with you.
Okay. And what do I need to fill
There's
out?
a
I'm
there's a
sorry.
piece of paper up there where you. I'm sorry, we have a record of, thank you, I appreciate that very much. Anyone else? Okay, there being no one else, for those who weren't here earlier, we're moving a couple of the agenda items forward. Just to be more equitable with time. So we're going to move items, start off with 10A1, that would be Valerie Rand, speak to us.
Yeah. Thank you again for giving my items. So I'm here tonight to present our 22-23 unaudited actuals at the Plymouth County Office of Education and the Commission of High Schools. So. Okay, my presentation tonight in regards to our strategic goals is going to be talking about our fiscal responsibility and that the district and the county will be having a balanced budget. Once again, my fun little graph of where we are in our reporting cycle. We're here in our unaudited actuals. In June, I presented to you our estimated actuals. And so I put a comparison in here from where I thought we were going to be versus where we landed. And then after September, October, now we're going to be moving into our first interim for our projections for the 23-24 fiscal year. Okay. Plymouth County Office of Education. Not big enough for you guys. We ended from our projection revenues and our actuals. There was a difference of about $810,000, so a 16% difference. And our expenditures landed at 4.7 million. So it was about less than a percent difference from what I projected for our expenditures. Why the difference? The revenue, the difference in requirements for the recognition of restricted funding. Sometimes when we have grants on the county side that are $400,000 and we have to recognize that revenue in that fiscal year and we know we're not going to spend it. I try to take it out of the budget, but then when you put it back in, it still recognizes it. So we are working on some accounting procedures and training on how we can recognize revenue in the subsequent years in our SACS reporting software. Also going back periodically, a little bit more frequently to our LCFF calculator and making sure that what we have in our reporting system matches with what the state's apportionments and allocations are. The expenditures, the 0.66 of lower salary benefits and costs due to a percentage of time of our county office employees serving district programs, staffing issues. It wasn't much of a difference, so that was okay. So our bottom line, we still remain with a healthy reserve for the County Office of Ed at $750,000. The current reserve for economic uncertainty still remains at 17%. With the set aside for our XR funded programs, the differentiated assistance, and our EPA programs is at 2.4 million. And then I laid out the funds on the county side. Fund 11 is our adult education, Fund 12, child development. And 16 was the project outlay, and then Fund 40, that's I didn't have to get back to on Fund 40. I labeled it for the district, but I didn't go back to the county. Plymouth Unified. Our revenues came in at a 0.02 difference than what I had projected in June. Our revenues came in at $38 million. Our expenditures, there was a difference of a positive 4.92. Expenditures at 39 million. Leaving a difference of 1.1 million.
So our revenues did come in as expected. The expenditures of 4.92 was due to the higher salary and benefit costs and the time for PCOE staff serving district programs. The increased compensation of salary and our health and welfare benefits. A delay in reducing staffing charges from one-time funds. We still have quite a bit of funds that we have to identify there. And extra duty costs at the end of the year come in pretty high. So the bottom line for the general fund. General fund is currently at 0. We had to borrow from our Fund 17, our special reserve. So currently from 17, our reserve is at 12%. Now keep in mind that's included from our combined Fund 01 and Fund 17. Those were transfers in that were made not only from our building funds, but at the very end, you take what you have to from that special reserve. So we've included our student fund, adult education. Fund 20 is our other post-employment benefit funds. And Fund 21 is our Measure B. And that's not the right slide. I'm going to have to go. I will go over to my computer. I think that's stuff my office put the wrong. Measure B did change, obviously. That was Fund 21. But it was about 1 million. So I'll get those numbers to you.
The balance in Measure B is now about $1 million. Is that what you said?
It's about, yes, Fund 50, yes.
And I'll talk a little bit on the Measure B update.
I'm sorry, you guys, it looks like when we updated our slides and I asked someone to do it, I think he took the wrong information and I assumed and I headed out to Pertola. So it is not, it's definitely not. There is a resolution on tonight's agenda for a GAN limit. I have done a lot of research and I'm learning a lot on what a GAN limit is. Sometimes you go in and you go ahead and you update your forms and you do the calculations because it's a requirement, not really knowing what it is. And so I did ask ChatGPT for a little bit of help. And basically, the GAN limit is a rule that keeps government spending in check by connecting it to changes in inflation and population. So the calculation looks at two things: how much money people make on average per capita on personal income, and how many students attend school. So our average daily attendance, our ADA. These use the numbers to figure out how much they can spend. So really, we look at it, we calculate it, and at the end, they say, okay, here's how much you can spend. I'm not sure what happens if we spend more or less. I don't want to find out, but this is all just a learning process. And so I thank you all for your patience and your confidence while we figure this process out. Questions?
So recommendation, PCOE is just an information item. Well, you do need to pass a resolution on the GAN limit. Is that correct?
I believe so on
Yes.
USD and
And you need to pass a resolution, PCOE,
Right.
because it's GAN limit.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt resolution 64-04 down that for.
Second.
Second? No, second. And this is a roll call. It's a resolution.
That's
Yes. Then on PUSD, you're requesting approval on the On the unaudited actual report, cash transfers and GAN limit resolution, is that correct? So we'll take the GAN limit separately. With USD.
Yes.
And then the balance of the items will be a different resolution. I mean, a different thing that gets approved. So I'm looking forward first on that.
I'll move to approve resolution 1630.
We approving, sorry, question.
Go ahead.
We approving unaudited actuals. We have transfers that included in the unaudited actuals.
Yes,
I don't see anything subject to that.
everything to approve should be in your,
Together. But the GAN limit will be separate.
the GAN limit is a separate, it should be a separate
Yeah.
agenda item, correct? Okay,
We have a motion.
I will move to approve the unaudited actuals.
Second.
We have a first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll move to approve resolution 1635 again, but it. Second.
First and second, this is a roll call.
Mine. Aye. Evan.
Aye.
Anderson. Keller.
Aye.
Reed. Aye. Is there something else there? We separate, right?
I think that.
I think we got it. Okay, good. Thank you.
thank you guys.
Next up, we have a report on surplus items for trustee board. Is that correct? No, we come back to that.
Yeah, we come back to that.
I'm sorry. Student achievement, we have a public hearing.
Yes, your first item this evening is for sufficiency of instructional materials. This is an annual item and you'll hold a public hearing first, take any public comment, and then recommend approval of what's in front of you tonight.
At this point, we'll open the public hearing, comment regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials. Seeing that there's no one who will be commenting, we'll close the public hearing. So now is the resolution, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We need a calling for motion on the resolution.
I'll move to approve resolution 2224-022. Office of Education for.
The first and the second, I believe this is also a roll call item.
Mine. Yes. Evan.
Aye.
Anderson. Keller.
Aye.
Reed. Aye. For 202, the Reed High School District, this resolution regarding sufficiency of instructional materials.
Second, again, a roll call vote.
Mine. Aye. Evan.
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Aye.
Variance group. Now a curriculum and instruction update.
Great, thank you for taking care of that piece of annual business. I appreciate that. I have several updates for you. I want to start. Thank you, Daryl, for this, but I'm going to give mine to Gavin, if that's okay with you.
And actually, I was too. The reason why I'm giving more out is because I got Michelle Callahan saying I can get you more.
Okay.
So I was gonna give one to Gavin. So here you go.
Oh,
This
we
is for
all
your
get this.
kids.
Gavin's young eyes. Enjoy that. Thanks, Gavin, for that. All right, so you have 4 items kind of stacked together here. I do have one slideshow. That's okay with you. I'll just keep going one by one. Okay. So several updates at this time of year. First one, we're going to go ahead and start with our iReady benchmark assessment data. We're going to talk about map placement policy. And some data with that. You'll hear about our Panorama SCL screener and one of our school plans for student achievement, which happens to be Portola High School. That's for here tonight. I believe you do have these slides attached to your agenda if you do want to refer back to them later. As you know, we use iReady for benchmark assessment as well as personalized instruction throughout the year. We do actually the elementary 4 assessments, and this is what we call our benchmark, which is done in the first 3 weeks of the school year. I put up here fall 2022 and then fall 2023, so you can see where we're at. This data is for reading. Our next slide is going to be on math. We put this data for you in the form of triangles, mainly to align with our multi-tier system of support framework. And you can see we have some green, some yellow, and some red. Okay, so generally we want to see more green, less red. We would like to see the tip of that pyramid be about 5% of students with red. And you can see that we're significantly higher at 39%, which means those students are 2 or more years below grade level. And so we have some significant needs and concerns, which our sites are really working hard on to improve those scores.
Do you remember, not perfectly, but just a ballpark of where we were before COVID?
We didn't start using iReady until COVID, so I don't have a comparable data. We could go back to 2018 and certainly look at CAS data, but I don't have this particular one.
Is your gut feeling that it's much worse?
Yes, and I think you hear about some of the behaviors we see in the classroom, and we also hear about some of the academic needs of our students as well. We do have a new high five goal of 3rd grade reading, which is really important. But know that this assessment, actually this one is K through 8th grade. It's what grade levels? Yeah. Actually, this probably doesn't include our K because we give them they take it about 3 or 4 weeks into the school year, a little bit more time. So 1st through 8th grade. And this one's reading. And so our next bit of data is math, which actually is more red. And I think you're going to see that reflected in our state test scores, which are going to become public next week as well. We've talked with the principals about that and all of our school plans, intervention plans, all those things to get things caught up. Okay. So it is the reality that we're in and that we work on every day.
With these summer programs, we know, remember in the spring, and that improvement in the spring. Kids, of course, but summer programs this year, is that?
That we had last year. Yeah, we do quite a bit of expanded learning at all 4 of our elementary school sites. A combination of academics, but a lot of enrichment as well. So and with about, let's say we had 40 out of 300 kids attend. We don't have all the numbers that we need to do.
Question. Question's one, but even though the information you're talking about won't become public next week, you have a sense of what it is overall in the state. And the second part is what's the connection between that and COVID, 3 years later.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the effects of learning loss. And I think we're going to see the effects of COVID for a generation of kids to come and adults as well. So your first part of that was state test scores compared to the state, like what we're seeing across the states. So we've seen our private preview. We looked at that with our principals this week. The state doesn't allow you to see it though until it becomes public. So we can only look at our data and they'll release it when it becomes public. General hunch from things I hear is it's down across the state. I don't know, Bill, if you're hearing anything else, if you would want to add to that.
That is consistent with what we were all talking about in meetings on in this fall.
Our timeline to see now for iReady, again, we do it 4 times for the year at the elementary level and 3 times per year at the junior high level. We do have some of our 9th and 10th graders, particularly in math, use it as well and really benefit from the personalized learning to go back and fill some of those learning gaps.
So I have a question, sorry. TK is part of iReady. What's the
Yeah.
Why?
So generally we bring our TKs on at the end of the year and it is optional now and really depends on the TK student. Some TK students are coming in, ready to take it and we'll outperform some of the kindergarten peers. Some are not. So it really, until the end of the year, you're right. We don't really require it for TK. Yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
Our youngest 4-year-olds. Okay, the second item I want to talk to you about and is required by our board policy here is 6152.1 is our math placement policy. So this a snippet from what that is. And so we have a policy where we place students in 8th grade math, in 9th grade math, depending on how they do in 8th grade. Really critical course sequence to determine college and career readiness. And so I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, the state required us to do this policy. Our math team worked on it. And so I bring this to you every year as required. You can see that we have a grid pattern based on grades and CAS scores in 8th grade, which determines your placement in 9th grade. We have a similar one from 7th to 8th grade, but tonight the requirement is 8th to 9th grade. So just want to make sure you know what that policy is and what course that students should be placed in ninth grade. This is quite small, but this is our math course sequencing, and we have a lot of different options now to meet the needs of students. We'd still like to see more. Math teachers are hard to come by. We're still short in our district math teachers, so I know we want to do more. But we need more math teachers. So you can see, starting in 7th grade, and then it begins to divide in 8th grade, divides further, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. We do have new options, data science, particularly here at Portola High School and Quincy High School are offering data science to really offer that 3rd year math. Remember here in Plymouth Unified, we only require 2 years of math to graduate. Our A to G requirement really for college entrance and admissions is 3 years. So where do our students end up? So here are our numbers this year, and I included last year's as well in case you'd like to compare. So you can see at Chester High, our 8th graders, 24 of them are in what we call 8th grade math. And 9th graders, it kind of splits 14 in integrated 1 and then 1A, 8. So what 1A is, we take the integrated 1 year-long course and divide it into, well, 1 semester, we stretch it out to a year, and that's 1A and 1B. So it goes a bit slower. It still covers integrated 1 content and meets graduation requirements. Okay, so you can see Quincy High, 27 and 21, so more of our 8th graders in that integrated 1, and here at Portola, 33 and 13, which leads to that 9th grade math placement.